So this is my final presentation about what occurred on my placement during Pro Sport Academy and Pro Sport Coaching. In my placement, it's a final presentation on what my placement entailed, what roles I did whilst I was at the placement, how it affected the community, and effectively how it affected myself, which I'll go on to in some more detail after. So, introduction. Like I've just said, the aim of the PowerPoint and the presentation is to provide an understanding of what went on during my placement and what went on within your company. My roles within the placement will come under that, so how I went about my work, how I helped out in sports development, what I learnt myself, how it impacted me, how it impacted others. Also the experiences I learnt and knowledge I learnt to do with sports development, so not just other aspects of working, how it affects sports development specifically and how it relates to that aspect in this module, and also an understanding how it affected the community and how the work produced helped or was negative towards the community. So I'll be giving an aspect on community effects of the work your company Pro Sport does. Moving on. So the roles I performed within my placement, I worked with Pro Sport Coaching. I'll go on to develop this a little bit more. This was a partnership with Lynn Rovers, who are a Saturday, Sunday morning team. During my role with Pro Sport Coaching, it varied. Like I said, I'll go into it a little bit more, but that was that aspect of one part of my roles. Second part of my role was the education support at Pro Sport Education. That's another part of the company, so there's different branches that I've learned. This was based in Colne. They pretty much offer the education side to under 18s, 16 to 18 year olds, as well as college work. Also I did parts at Pro Sport Academy. Again, I'll go on to develop on what they do in future slides, but pretty much they help out within the local community, bringing players in and giving them extra training, etc. I also, for the academy team, I also organised events against other teams, and also finally the placement with yourselves has effectively allowed me now to open up my own company within Blackpool. So, looking at Lynn Rovers and Pro Sport Coaching. Lynn Rovers, like I said, are a Saturday/Sunday morning team who are a grassroots team who look to develop younger players, and pretty much like any local grassroots team, provide coaching. It's more fun-based activity which would relate to the bottom stage of the sports pyramid continuum. So what I did with the grassroots team, I coached, as I'm a goalkeeper myself, and specifically goalkeeping, I coached goalkeepers. This varied from boys to girls, from ages 9 to 15s. I also worked with the under-9s boys at Lynn Rovers, the under-15s girls, the under-9s girls, and the under-18s boys. This was a massive learning curve for me and really helped my development as a person and really in coaching and sports development, because not only was I working with just one gender, I was working with two different ones. So I was working with boys and girls. So for me, coaching wise, I'd only worked with boys before, so it allowed me to understand how my coaching strategies and my techniques have to differ with girls. The way I speak to them as well has to differ, which, to be fair, I really loved, and it was a really good benefit for me. And again, from the under-9s boys to under-18s boys, there was a massive difference in my coaching styles, my tone of language, the language used between the two. For example, with the under-18s, it'd be a little bit more informal. I'd have more of a laugh with them, and it allowed me to run them if they weren't doing something right. Whereas with the under-9s, it was basic language being processed. Lynn Rovers and our partnership with Lynn Rovers allows the team to develop themselves, and also allows players to come in and benefit themselves as well. Not only this, but it also offered me the opportunity to deal with different aspects away from football. For example, there was an instance of bullying during my time there of another child, which I ended up picking up on. This was a challenge for me, as I had to get the head official from Lynn Rovers to come in and sort that out. So it gave me a little bit of authority at the time, which was really good, as it's something that if I want to go into sports development, I will have to deal with. And also, effectively, it provided an opportunity for kids and children to come in off the streets, gaining a healthy and active lifestyle again, and also offers the opportunity to reduce crime. So, Lynn Rovers in the community. As you can see from the top line point here, in relation to Warrington Council, they state that their aim is to develop a consistent and sustainable approach to public health issues across the town by providing support, training, consultancy and advice to a wide range of professions and agencies. Pro Sport links perfectly with that aim. The reason why it links so good with that aim is because it does offer opportunities for public health issues. For example, it offers the opportunity for children with obesity or children who are overweight or underweight to come in, get that sport that they need to do and develop themselves to become a little bit more healthier. And also, it also relates to health, mental issues as well, by getting them enjoying sport and gives them something to look forward to. Again, from Warrington Council, they work hard to minimise the effects of inequalities by proactively engaging within the more disadvantaged area of Warrington and Lymm. So again, Lymm is quite a rich or quite a wealthy town, but you weren't just attracting players from Lymm. There's players coming from Birchwood, Warrington, where they're not as financially and socially beneficial as places like Lymm. So this allowed kids from that area to effectively get off council estates, come into the club, come into your company Pro Sport, and keep themselves being active and getting them away from trouble, which starts at a young age as well. Again, it also, instead of just doing the so many hours of PE a week that they do at schools, it also offers that opportunity for an extra hour a week of sport, which again links to the government's aim of improving healthy, active lifestyles and keeps the kids being a little bit more active. So, moving on to Pro Sport Education Colne. So, like I've just said, the education side was based in Colne, Burnley, so there's a little bit of travelling for me. The education side, like I previously mentioned in the first couple of slides, is to benefit those who have dropped out of school at 16 or dropped out a little bit earlier, who haven't got the GCSEs, they need to get into college, or they have criminal records, which a lot of them did. It offers that alternative opportunity of enjoyment through sport to keep them out of trouble. That was the main aim of the Pro Sport Education, to gain under 16 to 18 year olds to come in, get them off the street and effectively get themselves back on track to a better life. So my role within Pro Sport Education was really, I helped out assisting classes, so I'd be there if they needed any help, I'd help them. And also I was allowed to give talks myself because I play a very good level of football, and also I've used university as an opportunity to progress my education on how you don't have to focus just on sport, you can balance the two, and how it's affected my life and how well I've done within football as well as going to uni as well. Effectively last year winning the Conference North. Like I said, the main aim is to get people who've dropped out of school, and also it allowed me as well, my role within Pro Sport, to understand the backgrounds of different people and how to deal with different people who might not be someone who I am used to dealing with, and behavioural problems as well. So how does Pro Sport Education and the community link? So it relates a lot to Sport England's aim of tackling crime, because obviously the pro sport education yourselves have set up is to tackle crime and tackle problems at home and stuff. It links to, as you can see on the screen here, Sports England's aims. For example, training for community and health professionals to reduce youth antisocial behaviour, which was one major thing that I came across. From the first week that I was there was people, girls and lads, who were trying to take advantage of my age, messing about. You could obviously, there's behavioural problems, but over time it's obvious that the education system is there and it is benefiting the pupils there, because the behaviour did change after a while and they were spot on. Again, Sports England's aims to the effective use of sport by magistrates, police, youth offending teams and troubled families teams. So again, this could relate in relation to that massively, because pro sport yourselves could be seen as a company set up as a youth offending team, or from the police who help out and come in with PCSOs to give them talks about things. It could also relate to that about how they're working in relation, how yourselves are working in relation with the companies like the police and Sport England to bring kids off the streets to develop themselves and keep them away from crime. Also as well, it also offers that opportunity of success and a difference. Instead of just sitting in a classroom where they get bored and they'll become disruptive, it also offers them the opportunity to play football and also offer other different types of sport as well, which will keep them entertained and interested as well. It also keeps people off the street as well. So if they have dropped out of college and can't get into college, the majority of them will just sit at home, and when you sat at home you'll get bored, as everyone finds out, and they'll start to cause trouble potentially at home, especially with their criminal records, etc. Moving on. So, Pro Sport Academy. My role within Pro Sport Academy changed massively whilst I was there through different aspects. First of all, the academy team, Pro Sport, is set up to develop those at Lynn Rovers as well and other local teams, to get them into the academy, to give them professional training like you would at your Blackpools, your Morecambes, your Berries, and effectively try to get them in clubs like that and provide a player pathway for them to develop themselves. So obviously I gave the academy teams coaching, all ages ranged, so I produced my expertise into them, which helped them develop as players. But not only did I do coaching, I also organised academy games as well. For example, I organised a game against Blackpool under-8s, whereas I'm also coach there for, which was a good test for the academy lads. It was a close game, and it also allowed me to use my organisation skills of dealing with speaking to other people, using my power where I am to effectively cause a game and create an opportunity for other people, which links into sports development. I also managed teams at the places like Manchester City, Bury, Oldham in games. Also had to liaise with coaches there as well, which was an excellent experience for me, as it also got my communication and organisation skills on lock. So, Pro Sport Academy in the community. The Cheshire Association, which is linked with Warrington and Lynn where Pro Sport are based, the aim to improve and help the continue with their leagues. So us providing coaching to them, to kids from that area, allowed their leagues to progress, because you weren't just getting players from Lynn Rovers, you're also getting players from Birchwood, Warrington Town, which then makes their leagues a little bit better and makes them a little bit more competitive. It also as well, again, instead of just doing the 1 hour at Lynn Rovers or the other Sunday, Saturday league teams they do, also gave them another hour, which then effectively links with their government's healthy active lifestyles by giving them sport more, and gives them that kind of addiction to come to football, really enjoy themselves, and keeps them healthier instead of just being sat around on their Xbox or PlayStation, which then effectively causes obesity and overweightness and other kinds of health related problems. It also offers a route for other backgrounds as well, for example the ones who are struggling with money and stuff, because you don't have to pay, it's all free, you get chosen to come along, so it isn't right because you're the richest family you get to come along to Pro Sport Academy. It's also the opportunity to bring them in and help them and bring those from less backgrounds to come in and impress within player pathways. Moving on. So, the overall effects of my placement. So, my role in pro sport allowed me to understand on what's required in sports development. For example, liaising with other people, going into an education system where I can deal with different environments and not only coaching but teaching. Like I said, it also allowed me the opportunity to coach as well. It also allowed me to understand how sport affects the community and how it relates, like I've just stated then, to your local, your regional and your nationals. So your locals are Warrington Boroughs, your regionals are Cheshire FAs, and your nationals, your Sport Englands. My favourite part of pro sport education, which was my favourite part in general, was to see results of improvement within the people there. So not only was it education but also behavioural as well. It allowed me to organise with professional academies and organise games with them, and overall it was a great experience which helped my understanding of sports development. Just one final point, the placement has effectively now allowed me to open up my own company within Blackpool, which is based around sports development. This is File Coast Coaching, FC Coaching. Already it's been open 2.5 weeks since the placement finished. It's allowed me to get a partnership and liaise with Blackpool Ladies, an academy which has already been sorted. It's also, again, like pro sport is, it's a player pathway to develop players from grassroots through to academies with the contacts that I have, and also eventually what the company's aim and my aim to do with the company is to get into schools and help schools out as well. To conclude, again, like I've just said, it's allowed me to open my own business and allowed me to benefit personally in the sports development environment, and it's also allowed me to understand the importance of sports development within the community and as a whole.